Hey guys, so today we'll be talking about Vue.js, like the basics of Vue.js, and we'll be building a web app with Vue. So this is the application that we are going to build. So what we have here is that say you are a society in college and you want to organize an event, and there's some pricing to it. So what you want is some tickets which you can hand out to people for some money, and when they enter the event, they have to show their QR code, and uh, like you scan the QR code, and then you can know that they have paid or not. So this is the app that we'll build, and so there's extra functionality like you can print it. So if I open in preview, you can see that there are tickets, and you can change the pricing here. So you can say just Vue workshop, who organize it. So everything happens in real time. So this is like the thing, and so yeah, so this is what we want to build, and let's see the let me show you some stuff beforehand. So there's a GitHub repo where you can see the final code, and so yeah, this is the master branch where everything is there, and I have like put checkpoints in separate branches so you can see those, and yeah, let's look at some Vue.js concepts. Yeah, so there are two main concepts in Vue.js. Like the first is that can people not see my screen? Okay, yeah. So people can see the screen now. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just repeat what I told. So basically, this is the ticket application, and we can print the tickets, and we can actually like we can change the price, so whatever that is, and it will show up, and then you can print, and yeah, similarly you can change the title, who's the organizer. So multiple like whoever wants, they can print these tickets, and yeah, so now let's talk about why we need Vue.js for this. So one thing is that all these frameworks like React, Vue, Angular are important. Is that the screen should be updated very easily. Like if there is some data and that data changes, and that should show some change in the screen, that part should be very easy with these frameworks. And Vue is the easiest to do that. Somebody said they can't see the link I shared. I have I'll share it again. Maybe now you can see it. Yeah. So one thing is that when there's a change in a variable, the screen should update immediately. Second is that second concept is that of components. So when we build an app, instead of building the whole app in one go, what we do is we divide the app in small chunks, and we build those things first, and then when we combine those, that becomes the entire app. Yeah, so think of it as like a country and its states. So there are some things that the center does, and then there are some things which the state ministers are appointed for, and they only do those things. So that way there's a clear communication pattern. So, and one state cannot interfere with the okay, people can't see my chat. uh, Okay, strange. Anyway, so yeah, so one state cannot interfere with the other state. The advantage is that there's a very streamlined way of doing things, and similarly, that concept can be applied for our application. Like, say you are building Instagram. Now there are so the Instagram app has multiple pages, like the main timeline, then there's the profile page. And now in the profile page, we can think of it as a component. So each of these pages are components, and then each component can have multiple components. Like in the profile page, you see your circular image, that could be an avatar component. Then you see the image grid, so that could be one component. And then there's the edit profile feature, so there's a form there, and that could be another component. Like, yeah, so this is the component concept. And so the advantage here is that one team can work on one component, another team is working on another component, and these components won't interfere with each other, so they can be built independently. And when we and then these can be integrated together in our app, and we'll get the entire app. Yeah, so let's see some code of what we are doing. So I'll go to the stage 0 branch. Actually, let me show you before what we have done so far. So whenever we need to create a new Vue project, first thing is you have to ensure that you have Vue CLI installed. So you install it with this command, @vue/CLI. And once you have that, then you can do Vue create and name of your project. So after doing this, there will be a folder will be created named Vue event ticket generator, and there all the files will be there. And once you have that, the project structure will look like this, where you have packages in the folder, and then there is a app.vue and the hello world.vue. So in package.json, you can see multiple commands like surf, build, lint. So when we are working locally, we just need to run npm run surf. So as you can see that I have run it here. Yeah, so we can open this and we'll see our app. And as you can see that we just have a simple hello written there. And let's see the file syntax. So So the main thing to note here is there is the app.vue file. So one striking thing is there is no JS or HTML or CSS. The file extension is .vue, and the code inside is also a little strange. So like we have our HTML, the JS, and the CSS in one file. And so basically there are tags like template tag, there's a script tag, and there's a style tag. And in that there is corresponding like things are markup there, there's a script there, there's JavaScript here, and there's CSS here. And this syntax is called single file components, and this is a Vue specific syntax. What happens is when you make these Vue files and you run npm run serve, the Vue.js CLI, it knows, okay, this is the HTML, so it will render that. This is the JavaScript, so it will have a separate JS file, and it will put this part there, and another CSS file will be created there. So basically, this internal details that Vue takes care of. We just have to make we just have a file, and we can just write HTML, CSS, and JavaScript together. Now the advantage of this is that since we are working on a component, it is easier to work in the same file for all the things. And because the components are not very large, like ideally your component won't be very large, they will be small components. So it makes sense to have the markup and the CSS and the JavaScript together. That way you don't have to switch to style.css, then JavaScript file, then the HTML. Yeah, and this is a huge productivity boost. Okay, so let's see the syntax, what is happening. So there's a template and there's a div inside it and this looks like normal HTML. Then there's a p tag with hello, and then this is a little strange. There's a tag which is capital H and hello world. So what happens here is that in the script you can say that there are some components and you can import it from this file. And once you do this, you can use those components in your template. So basically your app component can use other components as well, and it is using the hello world component. And then you can style your file. So this way you can build your app with small components. And let's look at the hello world component. So here again we have template, script, and style. So template, like right now it just have a div. Then there's a export, and so you specify the name of the component, so it is hello world. That's why that's why you can use the hello world. If the name was different, then you would have to use that name. And then there's a style. So yeah, let's see it on the screen. So it just, there's a hello, but if you see the HTML, there's a hello and then there's a div. And so yeah, if I write something here, like here, and without refreshing, it will update, and it will, as you can see, that there's a div, and here my name is coming. So yeah, people are already in the chat saying Vue is awesome. That's great. Yeah. So yeah, so we have this, and yeah, so let's see the superpowers of Vue. First thing is that there's concept of you, like, first thing is that there should be some way where if you have a JavaScript value, you can render it in the template. So for that, you have to do is, in the script you say data, and that's actually a method, object method, and you return an object. So let's say I say name Aditya Agarwal, and here I can say that hello, and here I need two curly braces, and here I can just say name, and yeah, and if you see, like, it is saying hello Aditya Agarwal. So this is like a super useful feature in Vue. This is like that simple. You just have a name and you can render it. In normal JavaScript, you'd have to like have a variable name, then you'd have to write document.query selector div, and that div should have a class, and then you say dot text content and then equals to name. And then when the name changes, you again have to do this thing. But here, whenever the name changes, it will directly update here. So let's like, this is what I'm talking about. So say if you have a button and change name, say does this, and what you can do is say v on and click, and you can say that this is a function, so change name. Then you'd have to here below data, you would have to say a method, and you can say that change name is the method. What it can do is say this dot name equals to Michael Scott, and now see what happens. If I click on change name, it immediately updates. So I didn't have to do any DOM manipulation. By just changing the name, it update, or Vue takes care of updating. So yeah, and this is the method, and this is data. So basically you can think that whatever data is returning, that is reactive. So any change in that variable will update the DOM. Let's take a look at another thing. So say I have tickets, and the tickets is an array where each has an ID. So I'll just copy that from here. So okay, so you have tickets here, and you want to render like you want to render each of these in a list. So what you can do is that, say there is a UL, and then there's a LI, and say here it is just ticket ID, and you want to render an ID. So let's say it is just this. Now you can see that here, but what we want is that we want for each of these there should be that. So in Vue you can do, on this li you say v for, and you say ticket in tickets. Now in this ticket variable you'll get like you can render that. So here, like, I have the ticket object and I can say the ID of it. So what did we do? Yeah, so I think yeah, so let's do that as well. So here I can say key equals to ticket.id. I think this should fix it. Yeah, so here's what I did. So I had a v for, I say that in tickets, for each tickets, get a ticket and render this li with the so that we do with v for. And here I can like, I have the ticket object, so this object I have, and I can render the id there. And another thing is that I did a colon key here. So what happens is, like, this is a shorthand for writing v bind colon key. And basically what I'm saying is that you have to specify unique ID for the v4. So if v4 there's a li, you have to say the ID of it. So like you can write v hyphen bind colon key equals to ticket.id. Basically this colon, whenever you see this colon, becomes so that means this is not a string anymore, this is dynamic. So one thing is that this curly braces make it dynamic, and inside the attributes you have to say double quotes, but here you can specify key, and instead of v bind colon key you can just say colon key, and because of this colon it will know that this is that. And for example, like if I say that name equals to and just ticket.id, you can see that on the li I just have name ticket.id, but as soon as I do colon name equals to ticket.id, you can see that now it is actually the strings. So basically this becomes dynamic instead of a static string, and instead of this I can say v bind name, and that will do the same thing. And if I didn't have anything, it will just be a string. So you can see just ticket.id. So this is like the main view concepts, and so this is that easy to iterate through the array. Let's see if anybody has question. Yeah, Jasbinder, yes, you are right. Syntax is very much like Angular, but I'd say more like Angular 1 rather than the later Angulars. Uh, why does main.js has React icon? So this is just my editor config where .js has the React icon. Nice catch, but yeah, it is just my editor. So yeah, and so Nirmala, I'll answer your question in a later. Rahul is asking, does it work the same way as in React by updating the virtual DOM? Yes, there is virtual DOM in Vue as well. But yeah, when you change the data, it updates the virtual DOM. But that's an implementation detail. You don't really care about what is virtual DOM or anything. Yeah. Okay, so we have that, and so we have covered for loops now. Let's look at component now. So instead of hello world, uh, so like what I'll do is I have already made the HTML and CSS part of what we'll build, because there are a lot of concepts we have to cover. So I thought, like, let's not waste time on the markup and the CSS. Let's just cover the core Vue.js concepts. So I'll just go to that branch, and so basically I'm on this branch, and you can see there is not a lot of changes. Basically what we have here is there's a form where there's inputs, and then there's a button for print tickets, and then there's a li where there's a diff, and here we are entering a ticket component. And instead of the hello world, now we have a ticket component, and and then there's some styling, and there's a ticket component here. So in the ticket everything is static for now, like there is event name, event organizer, everything is static. So if I see the app right now, so this is the deployed one, let's just close this one, and if I see here, so I'm seeing that there's this thing, and then there are event name, event organizer, QR code is not entering, and this is static. So if I change anything, nothing is happening. So we have to add that functionality ourselves. Cool. So yeah, so first thing let's do is that get that event name thing working. So so as we know that there should be a data variable which when updated that should show in the ticket, right? So we'll do is we'll make a data, it will return an object, and there we'll have event name, and let's just say initially it is Vue.js workshop. Now we need to render this. So for now I'll just render it like here. So curly braces event name, and as you can see that I'm seeing the Vue.js workshop, and let's just do that tickets thing as well. So I have the tickets, and I'll do the v4 thing as well. So v for ticket and tickets, and colon key equals to ticket.id, and yeah, and so we can render the ticket ID as well. So as you can see, now there are 4 of those coming, and this like the Vue.js workshop is coming and their ID is being rendered. Now what we want is that when the event name changes, this thing should update. So for that, there's a very easy way to do it. So you go to the input, you say vModel, and you just specify the name which you want to change. So you just want to change the event name. So you say this. And now if I say workshops, you can see it is updated here. This is being updated. Cool. So we have that here. Now, but what we want is we want to change it here. So for that, basically we have to tell the ticket that what is the event name. Think of it like this: there are, like in normal JS, there are functions, and the functions have arguments. Similarly, in ticket, like here we have attributes, and so if I have to write the attribute, I can say that if colon event name equals to event name, because I had written a colon because I want the dynamic thing. So if this is the event name, that should come here instead of just the static string. And you can notice the difference as I remove the colon, it becomes green to say that it is just a string. When I do this, it becomes a variable. Now, when I do this in the ticket, I have to say that what is the argument. So I have to specify it here. So I say props, and it's an object, and I say that one thing I'm expecting is the event name, and I specify this thing that it is a string. So that's like a advanced, like another Vue feature. You can specify the type of that. And what is this props? I'll come to it in a minute. So when I get the event name here, now I can use it here. So instead of event name of static string, I can say curly braces event name. And as you can see, it is here. And the magic thing is that as I change it, it is being updated. So yeah, so this is as easy as this, that you just pass an attribute here with a colon, and you tell Vue about it here, and then you can use it in your template. Now, what is this props thing? That is just a Vue concept. Like in HTML, you have attributes. In normal JS functions, you have arguments. But in Vue.js, when you render it this is called a prop. So event name is a prop. Similarly, this component can have multiple props. So I can say that ticket equals to double quotes ticket, and now I can get I have to specify that here as well. So ticket, and actually this has to be an object, and when I have that here, I can now render those things here. So instead of ID being static, I can say ID is ticket.id, and as you can see, we are getting it here. So I can remove those from here. I can remove both these here. Okay, so we got this event name thing working. Yeah, but we need to get both of these as well working. So one way is that we define we have separate models for those. Like we have a vModel here, so we have a vModel for the organizer, we have vModel for the price, and then we pass individual arguments to that. So it could be like event organizer equals to event organizer. But that way, yeah, so that you can do. But suppose this event thing is a large object, so instead of passing individual keys, you can pass an object here. So let's say I remove this, and let's say that I want to pass an object here. So I say event, and so it's an object, and I say name is Vue.js workshop. Now in the ticket, I can say that you no longer get an event name string. Instead, you get an event object, and it's also an object. And now you can say that event name, instead you have event dot name. and hopefully it will work. Yeah, as you can see, it is coming. Vue.js workshop is coming. So now we passed an object instead of a string. We can pass an object here, but this is like a string, right? We want whatever the event name is, that should go here. So I can say that name should be event name. And now if I say change this, it will update. So yeah, let's like I'll just pause and see the chat if there is anything. Okay, so yeah, I'm not seeing anything in the chat. So let's move on. So one thing is that I put an object here, and now so I can do is that for both of these, I can say that there's a V model for you. V model equals to event organizer, and so I have to mark it here as well. Like in data, I have to say event organizer, and that is Mozilla. So, and now I can use it here. So I can say that the organizer is event organizer. And since I've already defined the event object, I don't have to do anything here. I can just directly say here that it should be event.organizer. And you can see it is coming. And if I change this, it is updating. Okay, so now that we have done that, we can do the same for our price. So v model is to price, and here we can say price event price. And now we can say here that the price is dollar event dot price. So if I yeah, and I have to specify it in the app view. I have to say that there is, you have to watch this event price as well. So I can say 20. And now I didn't add the V model or what? Yeah, it should be event price. So this is event price, this is event price. Here it is event price, and then to the ticket we are saying that event dot price will be event price. So here I can do event dot price. Save this, and now you can see that when I change this, it is working. So this is called reactivity in Vue.js, where you can update a data and the DOM will update automatically, and that is like awesome. Okay, so one thing we notice is that this is getting like our template is getting bloated. Like we already have so much markup here. Now we are also constructing an object. So there is what Vue.js does is there is another thing called computed, and with that, instead of having to do every computation in the in the markup side, you can do it in JS side. Let's say uh, you want to show event price, like event price into 3, right? And so what one thing you can do is that you can say that here uh, I want to show event price into 3 and say plus 100 for some reason. So you see like it is coming here, but instead of doing it in the markup, what you can do is instead of data, there is another thing called computed, and it will be an object. Here you say like calculated price. Say you are giving discounts and that you want to calculate. So you say that calculated price, and that's an object, that's a method. You say return this dot event price, and what do we do here? We multiply and this. When you do this, now you can do like instead of rendering event price into 3 plus 100, you can just render calculated price. and you can see 160 is coming. If you change it, it is changing. So what happens here is that when you do computed, and here in calculate price you are saying this dot event price. Now the calculate price method knows that whenever the event price changes, I have to recompute the value. So anytime event price changes, calculated price is called again. So now it returns some value, and that value gets rendered here automatically. So you don't have to do anything. So this is useful for the case like you want to give some discounts. So like there is some calculation for that, and as you change the price, that updated price should render. So for that you have computed. Now we what the computed we can use for is the event. Like instead of passing everything like object in here to instead of complicating it here, we can say that there is a computed property called event, and that's a method which returns an object with the event sorry the name equals to this dot event name, and organizer equals to this dot event organizer, and price is this dot event price. Now that you have done that, what you can do is, to the event, instead of passing this complicated object, you can say event. And I did some mistake. Cool. So event, yeah, so this will be that. And as you can see that this will still work. So if I remove this, it will still be view, and I do this, it is updating. So yeah, so this is like the power of computed, and it is very handy because your markup doesn't get bloated, and all the calculations on the data. So you are basically watching this data. So any change in data, you can use this data to compute new values, and you can use those in the markup. So yeah, we have done that as well. Yeah, next let's talk about that QR code thing, right? We want a QR code here. So for that, the logic is that we will use some library which will take this ID, and it will generate a QR code for us. So I already know a library which I'll be using. So it is called npm I install. Yeah, it is called QR code.view. So you can make libraries which are exporting Vue.js components, and you can use those external Vue.js components in your app. So I have that QR code.view library, and so I forgot the syntax. So I'll just quickly Google that. Sorry, I'll just quickly refer that. Yeah, so basically what we do is, in just like in the app, we were importing the ticket and then we were registering it in the components object. Since we want that QR library here in the ticket component, we will import it here. Then we have to register it in components. So I say components, and it will be an object. And here I say QR code view. And this is just shorthand for this. And so when the key and value same, then we can just use it here. And it is saying that, so there are like very helpful tips here. So it is saying that QR code view component has been registered but not used, because we have not used it in the template. So we have to use it there. So here inside of the QR code, I say QR code view, and now I have to pass it the ID. Okay, yeah. So so this is the code for that. So notice that instead of using the QR code view thing, I'm saying QR code hyphen view. So this is also a valid syntax in Vue.js. The important thing is there's a hyphen here. So both approaches work, and people prefer this one, I guess. So in the docs they use this one. So basically what we are saying is the QR code view, it accepts a prop called value, which will send the ticket ID, and then we can tell it the size. So it is 100, and the level is also there. And now if we see our app, it is working. And yeah, so we have our this thing working. uh, I'll just wait for the chat. So the stream is a little late, so I'll wait for the chat if somebody has any questions. Okay, so there are no questions in the chat. Okay, so let's move on to the print functionality. Basically, what we want is that when the user click on the button of print tickets, we should show the print dialog. So for that, we'll add a click event on it. So we on uh, click, and we say that print ticket. And now I have to define a method for that. So this computed, then I'll make a method, methods, and this will be an object with print ticket function, and it will just do this window dot print. And with that, our print functionality will work as well. So if I click on print tickets, it shows our preview, and I can open this, and as you can see, the images are coming. Okay, so Rikesh is asking how to increase our front-end designing skills. So the way I did it was that I took some popular pages like Twitter page or Meetup page, and like earlier also like there was Facebook or any other page, and I used to design it like I used to implement with CSS. So that way I didn't have to think about the design part. I was like I could focus on the implementation part, like how to achieve that effect with CSS. So once I got good in CSS, now I could think about the design part. So for design part, like what I did was that first I learned a little bit of Figma, so that way I could like instead of implementing everything in the CSS, first I could design it in the Figma and see if it looks good, and then I can implement. And actually, I wrote an article about that itself. So I'll put it in the chat. If let me know if you can see that. So you can subscribe to my newsletter if you want to read more interesting stuff. Okay, so I'm waiting for the questions now, and meanwhile I can check if I missed anything. So we have done that. The styling is there. So just the method name was called generate tickets. So instead of print ticket, it will be generate tickets. And okay, so Jasbinder is asking, why did Vue got so much attention? It looks very familiar with like other frameworks. So I think the popularity behind Vue was this, that so first there was Angular 1, which was very popular. Then like Angular 2 came out, and it was a full rewrite, and you had to learn TypeScript, and there was like a very different syntax from Angular 1. So people had two choices, either learn Angular or React. And so many people started with React. Now what happened was like many people didn't like React because React syntax is totally different from Angular. Many people prefer that template syntax, whereas in React you have JSX, etc. So many people preferred that template syntax. Then Vue.js came out, which was very much like Angular 1, but their syntax was very like modern. So there were many features which are like latest. Like they were using Webpack. There was this typing feature, like it will tell, like, there are autocomplete things which are happening, and there is a single file component where you can specify CSS, JS, and HTML. And then there were a lot more features, like there was no dirty checking happening, where in Angular there was dirty checking in the Angular version 1. Here it is single data flow. So what Vue did it is, it took Angular 1, then saw what React was doing right, and those React ideas it took in Angular 1 itself. Like, you can think that it is a baby of Angular plus React. Okay, so I have another thing to show. So one interesting thing was that when I click on the print tickets, only these tickets are coming. The form, etc., is not coming. That is because there is a. So what I did is, in the app, on the entire div, which is the form part, I added a no print class. Then in the CSS, I say that the no print, it should be display none. So basically, when we are in the print view, I say that whichever element has the no print class, it should not display, and that way it, like, our form is not coming. Another thing we can talk about is the scoped thing. Like, so this is a very useful feature in Vue. So as you know, in normal CSS, if you write, if there's a CSS file and you say button and you say display none. Now if this CSS file loads the entire app, if there is any button, it will be display none now, right? So this is because of the cascading feature of CSS. And basically what happens is, think of, in JavaScript we can think that this is a global variable sort of situation, that any CSS change is globally affecting the file. And in the app we are doing something like that only, that there's a style, and we are saying like body h1 h6, for all those the margin should be 0, padding should be 0. But there are specific things where we don't want, like, global effect. We want, like, it should be scoped for only one thing. Like, we want, so if we were building Instagram and we want to show circular image, we just want it on the profile page that the image should be circular. And if we did, like, image and radius 100%, so now this will affect all the images on the page. So even your square images, they will come rounded, which you don't want. So instead, in Vue, what you can do is, you can just put like a scoped attribute on the style, and that way all the styles you are putting, they will only affect this component. And how it is doing that, that's very interesting to know. So if I refresh the page, and you can see here that for my ticket component, so this is the ticket component, you can see there's something data hyphen v hyphen some random id. And so this is one for one. And then there is, for another li, in the ticket whatever it is rendering, there is another one, and with the same ids. But if I put a scope on the app, like, basically, if I have another component, say form, and that form component has style scope, then it will have another data hyphen v with some different id. Now what happens is that whatever CSS you are writing, like, this thing, ticket info, what is happening is, we just wrote ticket info in the CSS, we just wrote ticket info, but what Vue did was that add this thing as well here. So now what will happen is that it will only work with the ticket info which has this data v. And as you know, if I put ticket info here, it will not do anything, because the selector is called ticket info plus this data thing, and we don't have it here. So that's how Vue is making sure that your styles remain scoped. So in your component, it is a good idea to have scoped styles. If you have some styles which are like the whole page application wise, then you can put it in the without scope. Okay, waiting for more questions. Since we have some time left, I'm going off the track here. Let's try this. We'll build this. Let's see if it works. So say I have a file. Yeah, let's make another component only. So say there is, let's get an API first. So to do static API. Okay, so somebody is asking how does that print thing is working. So basically what happens is in the app, I say that in media print, so this is a media query and it gets run only when you are like the page appears in the print mode. And there I'm saying that I defined a class no print, and what it should do is it should display none. Whatever element has the no print class, it should display none. And now what I did was that I added the no print class on the form only. Like you can see, it is on the form only, it is not on the tickets. If I say add it on this as well, no print, and you see that if I print, you see there is nothing is coming here. So let's do this example. So there is an API where there are list of to-dos and we want to render those. Uh, can we limit those? Okay, so we don't have a limiting thing here. Let's do this, that we'll fetch this. So what we want to do is we want to make an API call, and whatever the to-dos are, we want to show it in a list. So in our app view, we want to get the data, right? For that, we need some other methods, and I think it goes here. So it's mounted, and let's see if it works. So here I say console log. Let's see if it works. So if I go here, yeah, so actually this should be outside. So yeah, so basically what happens is when this component gets rendered, like shown on the screen, then this mounted function gets called. And at this point, we can actually make a call to fetch our to-dos. So yeah, so let's use this API. So first we'll make an API call, and so this is fairly boilerplate fetch code, and here I'll say user one to-dos, and users one to-dos, and let's see what the result of that is. So if I open my console, you can see that I am getting array of 20 items. So we want to render this title as a list. So as you know, if we want to interact with the DOM, we need the data. So here are tickets. I'll make another array, and by default it will be empty. So empty array. So to-dos empty array. And when I get the data here, I can say that this dot to-dos equals to JSON. Now, when I get that, I can make another UL li, and again I need to repeat it. So v for equals to do in to do's. I put a key. So I need to find a unique key. So if I look at the API, I can see there is an ID on that. So for each key there is an ID. So I can say todo.id. And now in the li, I can say that render whatever the todos.title is. So now you can see we are getting that. And instead of ul, let's use ol. So this is how we make API calls and get the data. So to summarize, what we did was uh, we made a data variable to do's. Then in mounted, we say make a fetch call to this to do's API. Whatever the response is, set the to do's to that response, and then in our markup we just iterate through those to do's, and we set a key and we can say the title. And you can, yeah, this is pretty much how it works. Any questions? Okay, so there's no questions. Okay, so I can show you this tool as well. So this website is called codesandbox.io, and here you can actually see that I actually first built this application here only. So with this codesandbox.io, what you can do is that if you want to experiment with anything, you can just start writing here, and it will show up on the screen. It will just take a minute, and so yeah, you don't have to create a Vue project just to experiment with one syntax. You can use codesandbox.io for that. Okay. Now I guess people will be able to see the links. No questions. Okay, so yeah, I can cover this as well. So is like the API takes some time to come. So what we can do is say to do's loading, and it's by default it is saying false. And so what we do is that when we start the fetch, we say this dot to do's loading is true, and once we get the response, we say this dot to do's loading is false. And here we say like a div, we say loading, and we only show it when we if, and when show data, what is this, to do's loading. So we can say v if to do's loading, and here we can say v else to do's loading. V else requires no okay. So if we see, and you can see that first the load, let me slow it down. So if I go to network, I can say good 3G, and now you can see that the API call was made. Uh, Let me, yeah, so it is impossible to show. Okay, basically what happens is that first it will say loading, and when the data comes, it will show the list. And so all the code for the main application that we built, you can find it on the GitHub in the master branch. And I'll just push this extra code uh, to a separate branch. So yeah, you can see the extra code here, whatever I did in the end. I think like we are done for the session. You guys can, if you have any questions, you can ask me them on Twitter. So here's my link. I'm pretty active there. So yeah, you can ask any questions there. My DMs are open. So, should we end the session then? Thanks Mozilla BBSR for having me. If you have any other like workshops, you can tell me about it. I can take more sessions. Okay. Bye guys.